Matt Lenihan, Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store, Forged Irish Stout. We're here at Rotunda Gym in Liverpool, joined by Paul Smith. Paul, first off, before we start, how's things? I know you've been watching Callum train, he looks in great nick.
Yeah, he looks good. He's in a good place. Everything's on track, and looking forward to January 13th. And I'm good, thanks, mate. Good to see you.
Before we talk about Callum and his fight with Artur Beterbiev, let's talk about this past weekend. Katie Taylor, Chantelle Cameron, a terrific fight. There's a lot of things that went on here, but just give me your sort of initial reaction to Katie getting the victory and what was, one of the best fights I've seen, male or female. It was a great fight.
Yeah, brilliant fight, as is always the case with Katie Taylor. Chantelle Cameron done brilliant last time, winning the titles. She deserved it on the night. She was the better fighter on the night. She did everything needed to do. Needed to be done, and it wasn't that much of a shock on the night for me, in my opinion. This one I did fancy Katie to win. Again, just talking at home, talking with my son and people asking me, I did have a feeling Katie had rise to the game. In the last fight I felt she had to use her legs, either in and out. Don't stay there and say, don't get caught. She didn't do that as much in this fight as I expected, but if you're not going to be in and out, then it's probably better to stand and wait and be a bit more patient, which she was doing. I thought she was waiting patiently and catching Chantelle as she was coming in. The heads were coming close all the time. I've seen the referee taking a lot of criticism. Probably wasn't
holding and stuff.
Yeah, probably wasn't watching it as close enough. But listen, I didn't have a dog in the race, by the way. I love Katie Taylor. I love Chantelle Cameron. Jamie Moore, Johnny, Nigel Travis and the team, and Jamie, lovely people, like good friends of mine as well. Katie Taylor, I've admired, respected, got to know. I love her mum. Good people, you know what I mean. And so whoever won, it was, whatever was going to be, is going to be. But I did feel like Katie was going to win, and on the night, I thought the elbow from Chantelle was coming in a lot to push away the forearm. I seen the ref warning for it once, but it happened many a time. So I think it possibly balanced itself out. I don't want to sound controversial saying that, but I think the right person won on the night.
Interested in a trilogy, Croke Park?
I am, but I thought we'd possibly see Katie Taylor retire in the ring on Saturday after the fight. In my opinion, I think she's achieved everything. Then two weight undisputed champion. I keep saying this word, the trailblazer, but she is. She's an absolute pioneer for female boxing. Obviously, she's the pioneer in Britain and Ireland. Ireland should be so proud of her. She's phenomenal, and she's, as I say, depends on how she felt in camp and in the fight, whether she felt any signs of aging or not. She's not going to be one that's going to carry on just for money. She's only going to be doing things for legacy, and I think she'll want that Croke Park fight, and then after that's done, she can probably retire then.
100%. I mean, the atmosphere was one of the best I'd been a part of. I got to enjoy it as a fan for a change rather than actually working it, but incredible. Look, there's a fight in Belfast this week. Michael Conlan, Jordan Gill, terrific undercard by the way as well. Kevin Ajako, Troy Williamson, Sean McComb on there. First off, start with the main event. Michael Conlan, Jordan Gill, both coming back off knockout losses, with something to prove and show you. But what do you make of it? Break it down for us. Big implications for both.
Yeah, it is. I can't see past the Conlan win. I didn't think Jordan Gill's looked good in his previous two fights. I don't mean actual technically or boxing ability wise. I mean physically. I mean his health. I mean the stoppage. I watched the stoppage once where he didn't know where he was. I think he got the win at the end. And
Karim Gerfu, was it?
Yeah, I can't remember the fighter's name, to be honest with you. I remember watching. I remember being really worried for him on the night. And yeah, I think this is the wrong fight for Jordan Gill personally. He's a nice lad, he's a very good fighter, but I think Michael Conlan, even after this loss, he's still definitely got it. He's still certainly got it, and as I say, I can see it a knockout win for Conlan, but I'd rather not see Jordan Gill in that fight, in my opinion. I think he needed to take an easier fight to come back if he wants to come back.
The implications for that fight, we've obviously got Leigh Wood wanting the City Ground fight, and Josh Warrington's been banging on the door, and from what it sounds like, I think Eddie's favouring that fight, but he's going to be ringside with Jordan, one of his closest mates, and if Michael took, not writing Jordan off whatsoever, if Michael does win that fight, there's going to be, I think, clamour for that rematch again. What would you like to see a fight with Leigh Wood next? Is Cordina available for him as well? But in your opinion, sort of as a fan outside looking in, what would you like to see Leigh do?
Whatever he wants, to be honest with you. I think I went against Leigh Woods twice in 2 fights that he was having. He proved me completely wrong, and I really like his style. He's a nice lad. I like him as well. He can fight. Whatever he wants. Cordine's a good shout. It's definitely a good shout, but it's whether they want to put all that on the line. I think Leigh Wood's been proven to be putting things on the line in the past, and not like he's not asked or he doesn't care, but he's not bothered. He just wants to get in there and fight and make as much money as he can and be as successful as he can, and you've got to admire that. I'd like to see him get that City Ground fight, as you say. It'd be great for him. And if it's Conlan again, then great. I'm not writing Jordan Gill off as such, but I can see Conlan coming through this well, and then maybe the City Ground.
Let's talk about Callum. Huge fight coming up with Artur Beterbiev. I think when it first got announced, there was a very much sort of, people were talking about Callum's chances in it, and as it's got sort of, move further away or whatever, when the Saudi money, when obviously Bivol's back out on the 23rd, and all these events have got made, and we're talking about can Saudis put on Beterbiev and Bivol. I sort of feel like as it's getting closer, people are now not maybe disrespectfully, but overlooking him a little bit. Do you sort of feel that way? I mean, I find it staggering. I really do. Since he's moved up, he's looked better, he's looked fresher, he's hitting as hard as he ever has from the outside looking in. Are you seeing that a little bit? People are overlooking him
all the time, yeah. But it's what's expected, isn't it? I keep seeing people saying they want this Beterbiev and Bivol fight, and someone saying, "Well, what if he loses?" Well, I still want to see it. Why would you want to see it? You want to see all the belts being fought for. I would like to see Joshua against Wilder, regardless of what. But I still want to see the 4 belts being fought for by Fury and Usyk more, and I want to see the undisputed fight happen more, because in my opinion, it's what we want to see, a undisputed champion, unified champion. But I still want to see that fight. That's fine, but I don't want to see it more. At the end of the day, Callum Smiths mandatory challenger. He's done it by winning a final eliminator. He's had to sit and wait 6 months for the postponement, and it's a fight that he and his team and his family and his friends all massively fancy. And if he beats him, then there is no Bivol against Beterbiev, and if there is, then it's absolutely none of Callum Smith's business, our business, anyone else's business, because he'll have 3 belts and be sitting in a very, very good position. But just let people talk. Listen, boxing's boxing, isn't it? The people in it have got opinions. The people who aren't in it and want to be in it have got opinions, and the people who just watch it and admire it have got opinions, and that's boxing for you.
You mentioned there, obviously, we want to see Wilder, Joshua, and we're seeing them both on 2 separate fights on that card. I think a few people were saying, why have we just not seen it? But I suppose maybe a couple more months, it'll still be just as big, I think, but Wilder's had a lot of inactivity, like 30 seconds with Helenius after the 3rd Fury fight. Joshua's been back, obviously, against Helenius and Franklin. Wilder, Parker, what's your thoughts on that? Joseph Parker, obviously, under Andy Leigh, sort of hot and cold, but when he's on it, looks very good. What do you make of that fight? Like, can we potentially see an upset in your opinion?
We could. We definitely could. I think you'd have to look at the previous fights, what they've had, and Wilder's last fight, or Wilder's last performance against Fury. No, the Fury, in the last performance against Fury, he looked like he was done, completely done, in my opinion. He looked shot, he looked finished. The Helenius fight, the knockout was devastating, wasn't it? And he looked back to what he has, which is frightening power and electric power, and he'll put your lights out if he lands. Any heavyweight, obviously. That's still a massive sort of factor in this fight, and I can see him eventually finding it, but if he doesn't find it, then he's done, because there's not really any other way you can go after that, after beating, if he loses to Parker, in my opinion. Parker's a good fighter, seems a lovely fella. Everyone that speaks about him knows how good a person he is now, and obviously he's a good fighter, but this should be a step too far against Wilder, and if it's not, it's more a factor of Wilder will be bad and he needs to pack in my opinion. But as I say, there's good fights out there. There's that thing where people always talk about boxing and boxers being terrified of losing their own, and UFC fighters fight everyone. UFC fighters have to fight people, because if they don't fight, they get the contracts torn up and they get left out the business. Boxers are trying to make these fights, but I can't make this fight because he's on a different television network, he's got a different promoter, he can't fight because of this and that, he's got to fight this man. There's so much going on in boxing that it can't happen, but the fact that Saudi have come in and changing the game completely. His Excellency Turkey, he's putting these top fights on. Prince Callum and Skills Challenge were putting them on before that. Saudi mean business, and Saudi want to put these fights on, and it's good to see, in my opinion. And this could be the way forward for boxing. You know, put all your politics aside, we'll put the fight on for you. You come as our guests, you come and you get a percentage out of it, but we'll put the fights on, so there's no ego damage then and everything else. Maybe find a television network that they can all agree on and things like that. So it's good that the fights are happening in Saudi the way they're happening, but how long will a love affair last? One word's going to get said by one of the promoters to the other. The egos are going to kick in. They're going to fall out.
Frank and Eddie, I mean, that was quite amicable in all fairness, wasn't it? But I suppose they know the stakes are big and the money's huge.
Of course, listen, boxing's boxing. Obviously, I haven't been Frank Warren's biggest fan. I'm sure he's not my biggest fan, but business is business. If you're working together, you're working together. Also, you know, time goes by pretty quick, and you find yourself falling out with people in boxing over things that they don't really mean much 5 years later, 10 years later. So, you know, life's too short. Don't burn your bridges in boxing. At the end of the day, you're gonna be working with people some form down the line. So it'd be nice if everyone can stay civil and get on out there, and we get to see these great fights as boxing fans. But we'll see how long it lasts. I don't know.
Hopefully for a long time, because I think boxing fans, especially I would say more the casual side, saying, why are we ever going to see Fury Joshua? Are we ever going to see Usyk? Are we ever going to see all this other stuff? I think now we're finally seeing it. Look, I appreciate your time as always. Looking forward to seeing Callum back out. I think it's a tremendous fight, and yeah, we'll catch up shortly after it, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tammy. Cheers.